Hi everyone, welcome to the Neal's Yard Dairy subscription. This subscription will deliver 3 different cheeses every month to your door. So it's a really great way to get to know some new British cheeses and also just keep a very good supply of cheese in the house, which is always a good thing. So I'm here to introduce you to the May selection. And this month we have Doorstone, a goat's milk cheese from Herefordshire, a cow's milk cheese, Duris, from Ireland, County Cork, and a sheep's milk cheese, Spenwood, and that comes to us from Berkshire. So 3 different animals, 3 different cheeses, a really nice selection of different choices for the warmer weather. They're all a bit lighter, which is great. So I'll start by talking a bit about Doorstone, which is this cheese here, this ash-covered goat's milk cheese. And Doorstone, as I said, comes to us from Herefordshire, from Neal's Yard Creamery. And the cheesemaker, Charlie Westhead, he actually was one of Neal's Yard Dairy's very first employees. When we started out, we were selling fresh cheeses and yogurts and that kind of dairy products. And when we began to transition more into selling cheese made elsewhere in the country, the cheese-making program kind of moved off and became its own separate entity, and that is Neal's Yard Creamery, which is now off by itself in Herefordshire, making some wonderful cheeses and a really good creme fraiche. If you're ever in our shops to get their creme fraiche, I'd recommend that highly. So Doorstone, for me, is a really great classic ash-covered goat's cheese. It's a great place to kind of start the cheese board because it's got a lot of bright, very citrusy flavors. And you can see, of course, it is ash-covered, so it has that lovely kind of gray rind to it. But then when you open it up, ta-da! It's this beautiful, bright white interior and a very kind of fluffy, very delicate texture to it because everything's done by hand. So the curds are ladled by hand, everything's done very slowly, the whey's drained off very slowly, and so it leaves us with a very light textured, very perfect for spring goat's cheese. And what I love about Doorstone is that visually it is just such a gorgeous cheese. You kind of get these really beautiful patterns on the rind here, these kind of swirls and whirls, which are all due to the geotrichum yeast, which is already present in goat's milk. So you might see that on other goat's milk cheeses. But it's a good one to look at as you eat it. Yours might have other kind of white mold spots on it, like mine does. That's completely normal. Sometimes they can kind of protrude outwards a bit. They're edible, they're safe. Go ahead and just eat that as normal. It's all part of the maturation process there. Great, so our second cheese is Duris, which is this lovely wash-drying cheese here. And this comes to us from County Cork in Ireland. And the cheesemaker, Jeffa Gill, she was actually one of this group of women cheesemakers back in the 1970s who played a really big part in kind of getting Ireland's cheese renaissance going in the 1970s to kind of bring back this tradition of small-scale cheese made on the farm in traditional methods. And this cheese is a massive cheesemonger favorite, at least at Neal's Yard Dairy, because it's just so Moorish. It's a very easy eating cheese. It's really savory and buttery, and the texture is just so soft and so inviting that it's the perfect kind of sandwich cheese. And so you can ask anyone in the company, and they will have different ways they prefer to eat their Duris. So some are very much sourdough bread, a lot of salted butter, perfect sandwich, or I've heard sandwiched in between a croissant is a perfect kind of way to start the day, a good breakfast cheese. For me, it always reminds me of our Covent Garden manager, Miranda, who loves Duris hugely. And so I would always know when like a new cheese had been opened up that day because she kind of just flit around the store saying, Duris is delicious today. Yeah, Duris is delicious. And I would know that a Duris sandwich was on the cards for lunch, which is always a good day. So of the 3, I would say Duris is the one to kind of dive into first because it really is amazing when it's very fresh and very kind of squidgy. You can see it's got a great kind of squidge to it there. That's what you want in a Duris. So don't wait on the Duris. And great, so the last cheese is Spenwood, which is this small cheese here. I will say that the pieces you receive will be larger for the Duris and the Spenwood. It is just that I have a husband who loves cheese, and so he tends to get to these a bit before I do, even though I write do not eat on the labels, but what are you going to do? So the other half of that Spenwood has gone into a risotto already. And it is a really, really great cheese to cook with in that way because it's made in a similar style to a pecorino. And so it's wonderful used in cooking like you would a Parmesan or a pecorino, grated on pasta or in a risotto, as we did. And it was kind of came about because the cheesemaker, Anne Wigmore, she went to Italy on a sabbatical and came back and started making this cheese that was very similar to the local sheep's milk cheeses that she kind of fell in love with in Sardinia, in Italy. So she used to be a microbiologist, actually, in the National Institute for Research in Dairying. And so she made the kind of switch from theoretical dairying over to practical in making spenwood, which was very beneficial for us as cheese eaters. And great, that is your trio of May cheeses. So you've got Doorstone, a lovely fresh ash-covered goat's cheese, Duris, a really savory, buttery, chocolatey, malty, wonderful soft cheese, and Spenwood, a beautiful pecorino-style, kind of nutty, very smooth textured, great for eating in kind of little slivers or grated over anything you like, really. It's a great selection. I really hope you enjoy it. Please do leave comments, tell us how you're enjoying it, what you're pairing it with, how you're cooking with it. You can leave that all in the comment section below. Or, of course, always reach out to us by email or by phone. You can find our information on the contact page, on our contact page on the site. We'd love to hear from you. So enjoy, and I will see you next month.